What's up, guys? Nick Staley here back. I appreciate you for showing support. I know we've kind of disagreed the past couple of weeks on what's going to happen with the future of the Knicks. Keeping Rose, keeping Fournier, and keeping Quinton Grimes quickly, topping all these young players that I love, dude. I've really grown close to them, especially at the end of last season. And now all of a sudden, we're going to package them for Donovan Mitchell, a guy who obviously can't lead a championship team. I mean, Utah has just been first round after first round after first round exit, second round exit. Donovan Mitchell did go out there and drop 27 a game last season, but he is a smaller guard. I believe I'm not taller than Donovan Mitchell. How tall is Donovan Mitchell? 6'1", 6'2". So we're about the same size. And obviously being a shooting guard in the NBA next to Jalen Bronson, who's another small guard, isn't exactly ideal. And the more I think about it, I just went back and I was on a show and for the Knicks, like I was on a show brought in to talk about the Knicks, and the video is kind of blowing up. And I know a lot of Knicks fans who, of course, don't know me. There's so many Knicks fans. New York City is huge, and they're like, we really don't need Donovan Mitchell, right? Like we really don't need this guy because we already have Quinton Grimes and Quickly, who these players are young. We drafted them; they deserve a chance. Miles McBride's another name, so why not just sort of run it back with Jalen Bronson? I mean, last season Alec Burks was playing 40 minutes a game for the Knicks at point guard, and this team was still relatively competitive. Now, did it make the playoffs? No, it did not. Injuries, Coach Tibbs, obviously rotations, and they just didn't have a point guard. So now you have a borderline all-star point guard. I mean, Jalen Brunson is going to give the Knicks 20 points a game, 7 assists, probably 4 or 5 rebounds, and he brings that leadership. He just balled out in the playoffs. So the Knicks are in great shape. So do I want Donovan Mitchell? Absolutely, dude, because for one, he's going to lure other players to New York. 2, the Knicks are going to be better. And 3, Donovan Mitchell is a star player. It's going to be great for the channel. But at the same time, I do actually completely get not trading for Mitchell. And I think moving forward in the videos, I'm gonna kind of like shy away from Mitchell because I don't think the Knicks are gonna get him. It's crazy. If somebody does trade for Mitchell, it's gonna be the Knicks. But I don't think anyone is gonna trade for Mitchell. And that's why we're gonna talk about season predictions and just an overall roster breakdown for the Knicks without Donovan Mitchell, because Donovan Mitchell is not on the Knicks. So why would we include him in it? So if you're new to the channel, man, make sure you subscribe, dude. If you like the Knicks, you like daily Knicks updates and posts and stuff like that, then yeah, I'd love to have you here, and drop a like, get it out to more Knicks fans. We're trying to hit 3,000 subscribers, and let's get right into it. So starting off with point guards, we've got Jalen Brunson, and of course, Emmanuel Quickly, followed by Miles McBride, and then Derrick Rose. So our point guard position is completely changed since last season. Remember, Kemba Walker was there. We also had Alec Burks, and you replace those guys with, I guess we had Derrick Rose, of course, but a healthy Derrick Rose, Jalen Brunson, Emmanuel Quickly, who last season down the final 2 months of the season was spectacular. Miles McBride's an elite defender, maybe not elite, but he's a very damn good defender, and he showed strides in the summer league. I like Miles McBride a lot. I always have. The Knicks point guard is completely fine. It's completely set. Jalen Brunson's making like $27 million a year. His contract will end when he's 29. Nothing wrong with that at all. The Knicks got their point guard, dude. They're going to be a significantly better team. For the shooting guards, this is where things get very sticky. Evan Fournier is a sniper. He's an incredible three-point shooter, but he doesn't do anything else. He's not a good defender, and he doesn't really shoot efficiently when he's not behind the three-point line. So, and he's not old by any means. I think Fournier's 28. He's a veteran. He's a prime of his career. But I'm looking at Jalen Brunson, and there's a player on the Knicks roster who would truly be great next to him. And if you watched the Knicks Summer League, which I'd imagine you did, because if you're subscribed to a Knicks channel, or at least you followed it, there was one player on the Knicks Summer League that broke out. And I know it's a Summer League, but I really don't care. His name is Quinton Grimes. In the Summer League, he was shooting without hesitation. He was playmaking. He was driving. He was being a leader. He was defending. Quinton Grimes showed me that he really shouldn't be in any trades unless we're getting Kevin Durant, which we aren't. Donovan Mitchell's a great player, but he's not Kevin Durant. If we were getting Kevin Durant, sure, I'll trade Quinton Grimes. And I'm not saying specifically Durant. I know with his injuries and his age, like we wouldn't want him, but I'm just saying like we need a player of that caliber, a superstar player. So I do completely love the idea of Jalen Brunson next to Quinton Grimes, and then Emmanuel Quickly getting the keys to the bench. Now, do I like Emmanuel Quickly coming off the bench? Not really. I wish he was starting, but at the same time, Emmanuel Quickly against second units is pretty damn good. Not to mention the guy that we're going to get into in a second here, Cam Reddish. And Jericho Sims, and Obi Toppin. That right there could start for the Knicks. Now, hear me out. We would be a lottery team, but Emmanuel quickly, Toppin, Sims, and of course, Cam Reddish and like McBride and these boys, like that right there could start. It would be not a good team, but like you could throw that out there and be relatively competitive, dude. It wouldn't be a free win. Like they'd make you work for it. That's what the young Knicks do. That's why they won games in the second half of the season. But that's not our starting lineup, because if you go back to our actual starting lineup, again, Fournier is technically the starter, but Quinton Grimes is going to start. It's going to be Bronson Grimes, and then at the 3, you've got RJ Barrett, who in my opinion is the best player on the roster. I know a lot of Knicks fans disagree with me and they'll say it's Randall. I think it's RJ Barrett. Why? Because he can score 20 to 30 on any given night. He can defend wings. He can defend guards. The efficiency is what kills RJ. RJ Barrett is extremely inefficient, true shooting wise specifically. But still, he's a 21-year-old. He played last season at the age of 21 years old. So, I mean, he basically could just legally drink a beer in the United States, and he was supposed to score 20 a game for the Knicks and defend their best wing. So RJ Barrett, I think, is our best player, and expect him to become an all-star next season. At least in my opinion, I feel like RJ Barrett is going to come back and just really take things to the next level. He's going to have Jalen Bronson next to him, which means more efficiency. He's going to have a healthy Julius Randle, which means another scorer. And you can't just lock on RJ anymore. Be like, Julius Randle could shoot the 3, but he couldn't really do anything else. And he played slow, and it just wasn't a good year for Julius, man. And he still put up 20, 10, and 5. So the fact that that's pretty much a bad year for Randle speaks a lot about how good he really is. But yeah, the Knicks small forward position is led by RJ Barrett, and it's followed up by one of the most interesting, if not the most interesting Knicks players right now is Cam Reddish. Like, what's his role next season? He's a 6'8" forward. Of course, he came out of Duke, top lottery pick in the draft, was with the Hawks, showed a lot of signs, showed a lot of struggles. He gets traded to the Knicks for a first-round pick, and they refuse to play him more than 13 minutes a game, and then he ends up getting injured. And honestly, Cam Reddish deserves a chance off of the bench because he can shoot, he can defend, and he's just a really tough guy to defend. So that's pretty much what it comes down to, is Cam Reddish has a lot of potential, but he hasn't really shown a lot of production. So we need to start seeing that production. But yeah, outside of Cam Reddish, dude, of course, we're going to have a guy, Grimes can play the 2, he can play the 3, Fournier can play the 3. So we've got like depth there. But Baron Hunt, I believe, is on a 2-way. And he's just an incredible defender, dude. He's a smooth player from what I saw in the summer league. Of course, he had like 7 steals the first game. I mean, yeah, Hunt is a good player. What his role will be probably won't be anything. It'll be very minimal. But yeah, I mean, I like Hunt. He's a good guy to have at the end of your team. And for the power forward position, this is where a lot of Knicks fans disagree on, and I love it. I absolutely love that Knicks fans disagree on this because it means that we're doing something right. And it's obviously we're not starting Obi Toppin over Julius Randle, but it's, do we trade Julius Randle and start Obi Toppin? Because the last 5 games of the season, Obi Toppin was putting up, 18 and 10 a game. He was shooting 40% from 3. He moves out the basketball, and we drafted him. So he's a part of this, core. I know Randall's like the same age as him, and Randall's shown a lot more in his career, but whenever Obi Toppin plays 30 plus minutes in the game, he always does very well. So that's the thing with the Knicks, is do they really just kind of move on from Fournier, Randle, and Coach Tibb? And do they just go with Grimes, or they go with Toppin and then have IQ as a 6-man instead of Fournier? That's the thing with the Knicks right now. What I think the Knicks will do is completely just keep this team right now, and it's basically what you think. Obi off the bench, quickly, Cam, Hartenstein, and you'll see some McBride, and you'll see some Sims kind of mixed in there. I don't know, man. I really do believe in Randle. I'm kind of giving him a second chance. Like, Randle really pissed me off last season, dude. He was out of shape and he played poorly, but I don't know, especially because it was a contract year. All of a sudden, contract year, Julius Randle, he's so good. And then now he's not so good. And he kind of screwed the Knicks over too, because if Julius Randle was playing better, obviously, and we were healthy, Kemba and all these boys got injured, Rose, like, we would have made the playoffs. But we need to start talking about the Knicks not only making the playoffs, but actually being able to challenge some of these teams. Now, are they going to beat the Celtics and the Heat and the Bucks and the Sixers in a series? Probably not, but at least give them a run, dude, because, we've got all our picks and young players. We're going to continue to get better every year, to where some of these teams really aren't. The Knicks are on the rise, and, Miami's only going to get worse. Jimmy Butler's like 34 at this point, and, I don't really – Tyler Hero is going to get a huge contract. So the Knicks are on the rise, and I do think right now, even though the Knicks didn't make the play-in last season, I do think the Knicks will be like the 6th seed with Brunson, and things will be great. And That leaves us to, let me make sure my computer doesn't die here. Okay, we're good. I love this computer. But yeah, getting into the center position, we've got Mitchell Robinson, Isaiah Hartenstein, and Mr. Jericho Sims, who's actually my age, which is kind of funny. Jericho Sims is actually really young. The whole Knicks team is really young, dude. How many players on the Knicks are younger than me? RJ, I think that's it. Yeah, I think Quinton Grimes is younger than me. That's it. That's right. I think he's 22 or 20. What's Quentin? 20. I think he's 22. So 2 players. Pretty insane. Wow. That makes me feel kind of old. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so Mitchell Robinson, guys, 15 million a year for 4 years, $60 million. Defensively, Mitchell Robinson's a freaking stud, dude. He can protect the rim. He can switch pick and rolls. He can catch lobs. He can get putbacks. He's in his mid-20s. Steal of a contract, in my opinion. Isaiah Hartenstein he's a great passer, great rim protector. He even has shown signs of being able to consistently shoot the 3 ball and knock it down at a high clip. And then Jericho Sims is just a guy who he's kind of similar to DeAndre Jordan. Like, he catches lobs, he rebounds, he can defend the paint. Obviously not as good as the other guys, but Jericho Sims is just an athletic freak, dude. He definitely looks like he plays football. Like, when he's on the court, like, he's not out of control. It's not what I mean, but he's just super athletic. I don't know. He's an athletic freak. And of course, we'll have Julius Randle probably play some center at times if needed, and Obi Toppin if we want to go small. But yeah, that's actually the video, guys. Oh yeah, so predictions for the Knicks. Like I said, 6 seed. I do think the Knicks will probably get knocked out in the first round. I hate to say that because I love the Knicks. I'm a Knicks fan, but we'll probably lose in the first round in like 6 or 7 games. But the sky's the limit, man. We're only going to get better, dude. Obviously, we're going to be able to bring in someone big in free agency potentially next season, and we'll have the draft, if anything, like this season. There wasn't really a lot of opportunities for the Knicks. They didn't like anyone they had. That's why, they had Jalen Duren, but they didn't want him, so they traded for future first. And, who knows, man? Maybe the Knicks will sign Donovan Mitchell in free agency in like 2025 or whatever, and they'll end up having to save all these young cores. Like, imagine this roster with Donovan Mitchell. That would be a very, very scary team. So, yeah, ending the video here, man. I completely agree with you guys. Well, in a sense, I do agree with your points, but if I had to pick between that team that I just showed you or Donovan Mitchell, like, I'm taking Donovan Mitchell, but I'm not trading, quickly Toppin, Grimes, and 6 first. Like, if we can trade 4 or 5 first-round picks and Quinton Grimes and maybe Cam Reddish and another player, like, if we can keep Obi and quickly, I probably would do it. I don't really care how many firsts we give up, and again, I'd rather have Grimes and quickly because of his defensive ability. And we have Brunson, and we still have like a Derrick Rose player and McBride, so we probably like it make more sense to keep Grimes. And I think Grimes actually has more upside than IQ. As much as I love IQ, I think Grimes could be a star. I don't know if I see quickly being like. I feel like Quentin Grimes can honestly become an all-star. I don't know. That might be a hot take, but yeah, it looks like we're not going to get Donovan Mitchell. So 6 seed for the Knicks. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I'll take the 6 seed any day of the week. But yeah, guys, it's your boy Nick Staley signing out. I'll see you in the next one.